Às vezes fica muito tempo sem mexer, não reage logo à apresentação. Tenho um som. Vou só pedir que estejas atento, porque eu posso entrar.
Só precisamos que elas são muito mais ao centro. Vamos colocar todos os possíveis.
Dark sky, light up sustainability. Today or tonight, we are with you again with a new webinar in our webinar series from SCoT. We are going to take you to a gorgeous webinar with a gorgeous environment and bountiful nature that bring us all up, lightening our spirit and our mind with the dark skies, without light pollution and without other pollution on the land, to be able to watch the sky. Today, our moderator is Apollonia, that she doesn't need to be introduced. She's very famous already, and you know her, and one of our popular moderators in the field. Before I start, I would like to ask our curator, Professor Jafari, if you are there to enlighten us with opening remark. Jafar, are you there?
Yes. Do you have my voice?
Yes.
Well, good evening from Maldives. I just arrived, and for that reason, I have technical problems, and I cannot join you fully for the webinar. But in my part, I would like to welcome everybody to the webinar series, to this special theme, which is truly unique and unusual, a sort of setting or a tourism product that engages residents and tourists alike and benefits our spirits and also the environment, protection of the environment, and all the privileges that we have lost in the big cities and the light pollution that we have. I have a camera problem, additional problem to my just arriving to Maldives. I'm here for a UNWTO summit meeting, which begins the day after tomorrow. And it was a long journey for me to come from the United States to here, at least 20 hours in the air. But I'm here, and the skies right now are dark here. The stars are shining, I can see that. So the theme is already live and kicking, and I can enjoy it myself. Your night sky is ahead of you. Of course, the webinar is not about the sound and lights, but it's about the subject that defines and frames dark skies, the opportunities that we have lost in the past because of the new civilization and light pollution. We really have lost the opportunity of being under the dome of dark skies with shining moon and shining stars and the like. And I have experienced that both in Portugal as well as elsewhere. In particular, when I was on desert tourism, in deserts, there are absolutely no light, and you could really see the stars blinking and talking to you in this sense. So once more, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for this nice program. And I give you, Qasim, I give you the mic. Go ahead.
Thank you, Jafar. I'm happy that we have such a bountiful nature that you and me can share the dark sky from Maldives and Japan. I'm going to pass the floor to our moderator, Apollonia, and she and her wonderful team are going to bring us more from the dark skies tonight. Apollonia, floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Professor Jafar and Mr. Kazem, for this presentation, for being here to invite us and to have the opportunity to talk about dark sky and how the sustainability can be bring with this type of destination development that we are doing, but it's growing all over the world. So tonight and today or tonight, depends on where you are, we decided to bring a group of panelists that are working and being linked for a long time with this theme, and not only from the side of certification or the side of astrophotography, but also from the side of the destinations like me and Ari Neiva that will be with us today, or from the side of research like Professor Aurea, or from the side of the public, I mean, how to fight light pollution and to bring good measures and to implement it in the field, like Susanna, you will hear about her. And to start, we will have the certification. But to give you an idea how we will do and what is relevant for the dark sky destinations, we want to bring to you the role of certification. So how the protection of night sky and the certification can play an important role in this, in bringing the night sky to all of us. Then also to include another part that sometimes people from the astronomy side or the scientific side don't give so much importance, but in tourism we need is the concept working at the same side as the brand destination, so to create reputation. And we will have Aurea to talk about this and how it play an important role, not only in creation, but also in the capacity to bring more benefits for the destination. And then we wanted to talk about the protection of night sky, but how we could implement measures in the field, how we can make it having better our dark skies, not only but other places, but our dark skies can be better in terms of the condition of light pollution and to decrease it. So we will start with António Varela. This is manager and director of Starlight Foundation, and you can see here is a very person with a great resume. You will have access to that in the YouTube and in this future records. So I give now the floor to António to talk about this process of certification and how they can bring benefit for the destinations that are working to protect the day and night sky. Antonia, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Apollonia. Greetings, everyone. It's an honor to be here. Many thanks to Apollonia, Professor Jafar, Kassam, and organizers for inviting me to participate in this webinar. I'm in Colombia, where I have came to teach a Starlight course. Today, I start my journey to Spain, and I will be pick up before the end of this webinar, so I apologize for having to leave early. I would like to attend a conference and discussion. For any question, please don't hesitate to contact me. In the first International Starlight Conference held on April 2007 in La Palma Islands, promoted by the Institute of Astrophysics of Canary Islands, emerged the principles and recommendations contained in the Declaration in Defense of the Night Sky and the Right to Starlight, or Starlight Declaration or La Palma Declaration, in which participated representatives of UNESCO, United Nations World Tourist Organization, International Astronomical Union, many commissions of the United Nations, international non-governmental organizations, and others, launched this international movement in defense on the sky, promoting the dissemination of astronomy and sustainable high-quality tourism in those places where the night sky is scary. Next, please. The ninth article is established that, among other, tourism can become a major instrument for a new alliance in defense of the quality of the nocturnal skyscape. Responsible tourists can and should take on board the night sky as a resource to protect and value in all destinations, generating new tourist products based on the observation of the firmament and the phenomena of the night, opens up unsuspected possibilities for cooperation among tourist stakeholders, local communities, and scientific institutions. Next, please. Starlight as a whole is an integrated action of UNESCO, and it's supported by the United Nations World Tourist Organization and the International Astronomical Union. After this conference, the Fundación Starlight is created as the entity responsible for the development and promotion of the Declaration of La Palma. Our main goals are the protection of the night sky, to promote the smart lighting and energy saving, the cultural diffusion of the astronomy, and the local sustainable economic development through astrotourism, including training, advice, and consultancy. The immediate benefits of protecting the dark sky are scientific, environmental, improvement of the quality of life, social awareness, and economics derived from energy savings and from astrotourism. Next, please. To achieve this objective, the International Starlight Certification System is created, aiming to promote worldwide a different way of caring for defining the sky, valuing it's a necessary resource for life and an intangible heritage of humanity, guaranteeing the ability to enjoy the light of the stars and the development of activities based on this resource. Starlight certification brings science and tourism together for the first time, and it's supported by the United Nations World Tourist Organization and International Astronomical Union. I'm afraid there is an overlapping of images. However, I think you can understand the Starlight reserves and Starlight tourist destinations or scenarios that incorporate the observation of the sky as part of the natural, scenic, cultural, or scientific heritage and encourage star tourism. Next, please. There exist other accreditations. Well, sorry, it's the last one, but don't worry. There exists other accreditation to these spaces, activities, companies that meet a series of requirements that are favorable of stargazing and promote the development of activities related to this natural resource. To this end, a study made, these modalities include rural houses and hotels, stellar parks, walking trails, cultural monuments, lighting projects, sport activities, farms, business, etc. As you can see here, any dark sky is not enough to develop astrotourism for us. In addition, with the environmental requirements, night and day sky quality, and requirements related to natural, cultural, and scientific resources, the places have to be visitable, accessible, and safe. It's necessary. This is the importance of the certification. the existence of intelligent lighting strategies and regulations, a strategy of management of starlight-related resources, a management of knowledge, research, innovation, education, and information, and the development of a macro management program on a master plan and feedback. There are nowadays 165 certifications in the world, distributed in more than 10 countries, and with open projects in other 7 countries, and growing more than 300% internationally, covering more than 100,000 square kilometers and more than 800 adhesions to the Starlight Declaration. Also, we have a group, a network of more than 700 Starlight guides and monitors of 50 nationalities. Starlight tourists, according to the Starlight criteria, is a responsible, sustainable, and innovative form of tourism. It's a powerful, please next one. It's a powerful tool of disseminate the astronomy. Also, the astrotourism continues to expand the overnight stay, the deseasonalization of the destinations, and the decentralization of supply. Also, the astrotourism is a powerful tool against depopulation. Starlight training is the only training in the world in this category, in which the Starlight Foundation is a pioneer. Also, it's important for this certification is a revaluation of the cultural, historical, environmental, biodiversity, ethnography, and heritage of the destinations. And also, we promote inclusive astrotourism initiative, and also the role of women and girls in science and astronomy. And you can see in this last slide, during the 41st plenary of affiliate members that took place in St. Petersburg in September 2019, the Scientific Tourist Astrotourism Working Group, led by the Starlight Foundation, was established as a starting point by a group of affiliate members from leading countries in this sector, and therefore exported an experience and ideas related to astrotourism activities. Among them, Asociación Dark Sky Alqueva, or Cernatur in La Palma, University George Washington, or, for example, también with the collaboration of Cernatur in Chile. The main purpose of this working group will be to see the potential of this branch of tourism, as well to create a forum where ideas and experience about combined science and tourism are studied and contrasted, starting with the astrotourism. And in this framework of this cooperation, we have organized last year very wonderful astrotourism, the first astrotourism conference by Starlight, with the participation of United Nations World Tourist Organization in the UNESCO Heritage City of Évora in Portugal, in the first Starlight tourist destinations in the world, in Alqueva. And this year, with the participation with the World Tourist Organization, also we will publish a guide of creation of experience and products on astrotourism and good practices. And finally, I would like only to emphasize the importance of the dark sky and the protection of the dark sky in tourist destinations. For sustainability destinations, is important to preserve this sky and all natural and cultural resources related with this the light of the stars. For this reason, the International Federation of Business Women, BPW Spain, and the Starlight Foundation have signed a covenant for the promoting sky. Thank you. For Sustainability Development Goal 18. The Starry Sky is also an opportunity for development and empowerment for many women in rural settings who suffer from dramatic depopulation. Women from indigenous and local communities are often repositories of traditional knowledge, which is critical to ensuring the livelihoods, resilience, and culture of their communities. In this way, I finish by saying that the sky becomes a resource to be safeguarded, not only for science, but also as a cultural, environmental, biodiversity, health, and quality of life heritage, and also as an engine of sustainable economy through astrotourism. And please sign this petition in this webpage. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you, Antonia, for giving us an idea how is important to certify, and we were the first ones to be certified and know how it is important, not saying us that we have a great sky, but someone from outside that is managing this and focus only in certification can prove that our sky has the quality that people expect from us. And not only that, but fight for having more and more quality for the night sky, and means to fight light pollution, things that are really hard to deal with for us that we are in the field. We know how difficult it is to go on with this task, and Susanna will tell about it. Thank you. I know that you have to go away, but any questions about the certification or the process, some things I can answer, because we are since 2011, so many years inside the certification process. So some things we can give a clue. Others you have to talk directly with Antonia and to know about it. I forgot to tell you in the beginning, apologize for we are not any of us native English speakers, so some error, some words not so well used, or the pronunciation, I apologize, but we will do our best to keep it dynamic as possible.
Thank you.
Apart being moderator, I would like to introduce what is in the center of this question, what is the main destination that brought us here, talking about this dark sky and light up sustainability. I am involved in this process since 2007, so a long time ago. I started in Alentejo, in my country, in Portugal, in an area that there wasn't any type of astronomy thing durable. I mean, with astronomers, amateurs, or other kind of people joining and gathering, talking about this issue. There were few. There are a group in Portugal, but in Lisbon. But in matter of fact, we have the sky. We have the conditions for sustainable tourism development. We had all to be a place for the stars. So I started, it's a long story. It's not here. I will talk about it because it will be long, but it's about, it was mainly to bring better sustainable development for our destination, because we were in the process of having mass tourism. So I try to combat mass tourism, bringing other opportunities for this territory that you are seeing here. We have a big lake. It's a man-made lake and the biggest of Central Europe. So means that it was a huge thing, and bring intentions for many investments. So we needed to bring other type of tourism, other type of ideas that could give the possibility to have a sustainable development instead of a mass tourism development. Then we have also the crisis in 2008, 2009 that helped to balance the investments and the huge investments that most of these investments means money outside the country, and big enterprises and fiscal paradise and so on, not added value for the destination. So we have this area that you are seeing here in Portugal. It's certified, as you see, as tourist destination Starlight, means from Foundation Starlight. We started with 6 municipalities, and it was growing until the point that we have 10 municipalities and 13 ayuntamientos in Spain. So we are the first cross-border, also not only the first Starlight tourism destination, but the first cross-border. This is what you can have here from our sky. And here, this is a light just to give you that we are still growing, and I hope to have more news about it soon. We started to grow up in terms of territory, not only because the idea starting to bring tourism to our territory, but also because it can help to grow up this idea of protecting the night sky. So we had contacts from 2 associations in our country. Ari Neiva is here with us. It's from Val do Tua Park. It's a regional park, so it's a protected area. It's a different type of, it's combining dark sky concept and brand with the protected area. It's a very important and interesting combination. And another concept is Aldeias do Xisto, schist villages, so small villages. It's a concept of protecting these communities and joining the night sky with this protection of these communities, and all the work that this association is being done for a long time, since even 2007, more or less like that, in a formal way. So we started in some way at the same time. So this is with the more or less 14% of the country is still working, is already working with the concept and brand dark sky, so protecting the night sky. And this is Dark Sky Val do Tua, 5 municipalities, and in gray you can see the area of the park, the natural park. And here you can see from a castle, the view you can have in the sky you have above this territory in the north of Portugal. And in the center of Portugal, you have another 40 municipalities and from Schist village. And this is the sky. It's a different type of landscape. So the difference is that we are working not only to protect the night sky, but each of us has a theme, a different theme. We are working and based more in the nautical activities, joining dark sky and nautical activities, schist with the community development, and the park with the archaeoastronomy and the natural resources they have, a huge length of footpaths, and all that is connected to the nature, but especially a theme very interesting that is archaeoastronomy. But I wanted to give also a slight idea of what it is dark sky and what we are doing. We, since the beginning, developed and were focused in creating a strong brand and a concept. So something that can be, that can bring added value for the destination, but can also be replicable. We can be used for other destinations, but always in adaptation mode, not using the same concept, the same ideas, because all our 3 regions or other regions that can work under this brand and concept are different, have completely different dynamics. And you will see why I am saying this. We work astrotourism and not scientific tourism, pure scientific tourism. I say this because in our territory, there isn't any scientific international group of telescopes. So people think, why, if you don't have nothing of that, why we started? Because we are our focus is astrotourism. So we want tourists that are coming to our territory to have an experience. So they also want restaurants, good food, to buy things, to do things during the day, to have maximum 45 minutes of travel between the place, the dark place, and their accommodation. So it's different from the people that, like Miguel, you will see his photos, and he doesn't mind to have 3 hours travel, to be in the middle of nowhere, to find things, or 12 hours to see a spot and to shoot. But the tourist that wanted to have an experience sometimes don't feel that as a good thing. So it's the difference that we are working. For example, I am from the side of tourism and not from the side of science, astronomy, or cosmology, or astrophysics. I am from the side of tourism. My interest is to develop the destination using science, using tourism side and the scientific part of astronomy, combining both and giving experience for the tourist. So, but I use it, and it's why it is sometimes different from other destinations. I use a sustainable destination management model, using the night sky as the trigger resource, a resource that we had already with good conditions, very good conditions, but also to show to these territories that we need a short, medium, and long-term vision, not only, how we say, 4 and 4 years, because we have political cycles, not 4 and 4 years vision, but we need to have a long-term vision, and means that we have to think in our territory how we will be in 50 years and what we can do to achieve sustainability in that 50 years, thinking that we have to pass many and to have many obstacles, political, financial, like COVID, other crises. So you have to think that we need a good and strong plan to follow, of course. And I am from the planning side, management and planning side of tourism, also to be capable of introducing improvements and corrective measures, because we know that what we think in 2007 needed to have some improvements, of course. I said that we are working the brand, important brand, and it's more close to the dynamic of the territory, because all territories are different. It's because we are committed with the identity of the areas we work. The identity of Alentejo, the identity of the center of Portugal, the identity of Val do Tua are really different, even if we are the same country. So you cannot work in the same way. And our focus is how we can improve sustainability in terms of sustainability in these regions. So we have to focus and have in mind always the identity of that territory. And of course, work sensorial tourism. We are talking about experience. During our time of dark sky implementation, in this case, dark sky Alqueva, we prepared and work with our entrepreneurs and our communities, nighttime activities, not only specific that are managed directly by us as a Dark Sky Association, but also complementary night activities, night walks, blind wine tasting, night canoeing, many things that you can do during the day, but you can do ballooning at night, that you can do at night, and you can involve all your partners, people that are already in the territory or want to invest in the territory, but doing things for having this dark sky in mind. Because not only they will have, more income, but they will be like a dark sky ambassadors, because they will also to promote effectively and in the dynamic way the protection of the night sky, because it's starting to be important for them also. And of course, what we also do and did with also Val do Tua is to integrate all the offer in a network of partners that are working together and are together developing this new offer. And of course, we work with the code of ethics. It is important. Everyone talk about working in partnership, working together in networks, but it's not easy to help developing networks. It's not easy to continue to work with networks, especially when there are profits or there are activities, income in the equation. So it's when we are non-profit organizations, we are public organizations working together. It's different when you are working with a network of partners that they have interests. They have interest in the economic side of the activity. So I wanted to give you an idea that we have a mission, because we are not an enterprise, we are an organization. We were responsible to develop the destination, but one of our missions that started in the beginning, and it was really difficult to promote, is that dark sky and development are perfectly compatible. Of course, in our case, we need to have proper lighting, and because this is very positive for environment, but also bring very important economic and social impacts. It's why dark sky, it's a way of showing that we can increase in terms of in the economic point of view and in environmental point of view and economic point of view, means that dark sky can show that sustainability, it's really the way we can follow, we should follow as destination development. And it's not only bringing benefits, direct benefits like other type of tourism, it's sometimes I say under brackets, it's obliging to have a sustainable view, because you need it for having the best dark sky territory possible, the best certified territory possible. You have to work that part of sustainability. And we always say that the night sky is a world mankind heritage, even if cannot be under UNESCO framework. We, as dark sky ambassadors, starlight ambassadors, we are promoting this idea for the public. As Antonia said, we are working also in the scientific tourism working group. We are an affiliate member of UNWTO, because we think that we have to collaborate and to bring all these issues to the discussion. We are from the destination side, means that we can bring added value for the discussion at international level, but also in the researcher part of this theme. It's important to understand what, in terms of field action, what really happens and what really can matter for communities or for the tourists. And we have this preoccupation with the sustainability. We are partner organization of One Planet Travel with Care. So we then have a framework of actions to implement and to support to have a better world in terms of tourism. And just to give an idea, fortunately, since a long time we are being awarded, and this is also good for us, but it represents that we have to work more and more. It's honor, but it's also a very responsible situation, and means that we are getting attention, and it is important. It's not only for us, but it's important for the politicals or for the policymakers to understand that this brings also attention. This is also something that is very important for the dynamic of the community, and means that it's gathering attention at worldwide. We are having awards not only as Astrotourism working in our side of Astrotourism, but also about sustainability. And this is important to see that many organizations all over the world are understanding the work we're doing. I have to say that in terms of fighting light pollution, it has been a really huge battle. Really huge and difficult battle, not only for the policymakers, but also for the communities, because we work in rural areas, and rural areas means that you have people that suffer with having no light, and now they think we are taking out the light. It's not true, of course. So it is important to work with these, with the best techniques and the best way to show people that we can have both sides, can develop and can be and can have development. But if we do all in equilibrium and balance, yes, we can have all, and we can have a great night sky, because the night sky is not only for them, for the tourists, it's also for the people who is living there. So thank you. Sorry to be, but I needed to give an idea what we are doing, what we did. It's just a part of our work. And now I will pass to Professor Aurelio Rodrigues from the University of Évora. She is following Dark Sky Alqueva since its beginning and collaborating in research. And she will give us a little bit of a glance about the branding and the importance of branding for sustainability, so for dark sky and for these territories, niche tourism territories, but they need the reputation, they need branding very in a very strong way. Aurea, the floor is yours.
So, first of all, thank you to the organizers for the invitation to be here today, and also thank you for the participants that are here assisting this event. I just have 5 minutes, so I'm going speak shortly bunch of subjects, and then we'll leave the rest for the part of the brainstorming and the discussion. So today I'm going to speak about some factors of success for the implementation of astrotourism, that is a specialized niche tourism. Next PowerPoint, please. So first of all, and in a very resumed way, astrotourism is any tourism that involves to observe the sky during the day or during the night, or visiting facilities related to astronomy or other cultural resources that could exist, for instance, related to archaeoastronomy. So this implies that it has to exist a mix of landscape and an unpolluted night sky. So because it is a specialized niche tourism, so it involves special interest, culture, or activity-based tourism, and involves also a small number of tourists in more authentic settings, because it has here a basis that is an unpolluted night sky. But it has something here that makes this very complex to implement, that is implies a high level of technical knowledge, and this needs multidisciplinarity, because people who work in tourism do not have that knowledge, and also those who have the scientific knowledge do not have knowledge in tourism. So the basis for to implement this is based on knowledge of astronomy, astrophysics, and other scientific knowledge related to space. So it's something that generally is not on the program of people who study tourism. So astrotourism allows to diversify the tourism offers in destination. So it's a niche tourism generally, and probably won't be the main basis, but will be something that could be very relevant to destination, and to diversify the offer in rural destinations. It's very important. It makes them more competitive, more interesting for tourists. So it leads to loyalty, to improve or to increase the period of stay at those destinations. But also there's something that is relevant in this type of tourism, that is to guarantee security for tourists, because this is developed during the night. So some things that are forgotten during the day or easy here have to be guaranteed, because we are saying to tourists that it's possible to do things at night. And another thing that is very important, and probably the most important, and the one that some destinations are making here a mistake, is that light pollution mitigation is not only feature that allows to develop astrotourism. So for the sky to become a tourist attraction, it has to have several things, like for instance, the starry night sky to be available most of the night, at least most 50% of the night. So, and there are other things that increase the quality of the sky for observation. So light pollution mitigation is something that is very important and is broader than development of tourism, but it's something that is just the basis for that destination to develop tourism. So there are other relevant things. This leads to an important thing, that is, we have to ensure that we can communicate correctly to the tourists, that he will have for sure that quality of the sky for observation. So to certify is the first main step to guarantee that. And like Apollonia said previously, and Tonya, it will be someone from outside that is telling to the tourist that that destination is proper for tourism, astrotourism development. So it is necessary the destination to, if the destination wants to develop tourism, to ensure that has the proper or the more adequate certification for that purpose. But this is just the basis. In terms of development of tourism, at this moment there are several destinations, even at the level of astrotourism are several destinations rising at this moment. So to create a unique identity, and it's very important, and that could be achieved by branding the destination. Next PowerPoint, please. So, of course, previously and before to create a brand, it's necessary to certify the destination, so ensure that has all the resources for astrotourism development, and to find this is a way to find the right way, and because those certifications already have a reputation, and to develop the product. And it is very important to look what are the different features that the destination has in order to develop the product, and extremely important to train all the stakeholders in terms of to know what is possible and is not possible to do in terms of this, especially because it's specialized niche tourism that needs a huge bunch of specific knowledge that is very complex for someone that works on tourism. So after that, because for instance, certification allows, gives the promise that the territory has the qualities that consumer looks for, and assures also the quality of that destination. So using that as the basis, the brand will communicate how it is different, how to will be different from other rural destinations or astrotourism destinations. So what are the advantages of a brand? To create a unique identity, guarantee the quality of the offer, to transmit a positive image of the destination, to create an emotional attachment to the destination, to create and to develop through time reputation, for instance, awards and prizes, like for instance, Dark Sky Alkevas receiving, allows to create that reputation, and also differentiation, because it's even if the basis of astrotourism is similar, each destination has different things to offer and different cultural characteristics, even related to the sky and so on. So in this will allow us to, as I told, to create competitive advantage. And as my concern, I finished here. I leave the rest, and this is just a starting point then for the discussion that we'll have after Susanna. So I pass the floor to Apollonia.
Thank you for your presentation. And yes, indeed, branding, it's very, very important. In our case, we had the territory certified, but we needed to stand up from the others, and to stand up from the others, we need indeed branding and create reputation in our destination. And even during COVID, we maintain this the working of this reputation and the emotional contact with our followers, so to continue being an example of sustainability and dark sky, and to be on their minds, still on their minds, and that makes the difference. I now pass to Susanna. Susanna is CEO at Lumínica Ambiental, and she works in the field, and she's a woman for the protection of the night sky. So she makes projects for lighting projects. So she is the one that helps us, all of us, not only knowing the criteria or fulfilling the criteria for the certification, but also she creates and implements projects that create a better night sky for all of us. Susanna?
Hi, thank you,
Hi.
Apollonia.
Sorry, I was not seeing you.
Okay.
Okay, Susanna, I give you the floor. When you need, ask me next slide, and I will.
Okay. Okay. Next.
Susanna,
Next.
thank you.
Next slide. Okay. Okay. I want to thank you, Apollonia and Professor Jaffari, for inviting me to participate in this fantastic and I think necessary webinar. That sky light up sustainability. I love this title. So I'm going to talk about other lighting installation which we have carried out in different territories, following the starlight and not light pollution criteria, which is more demanding than the current standards, to respect the environmental condition at night, reducing light pollution, saving energy, and ensure the safety of people, of course. Okay. Living beings, we have adapted to the change in sunlight according to the time of the day, with high values of blue light during the day, or central hours of the day, and warm light during sunset and sunrise, of course, and darkness at night. We cannot make an artificial day at night, neither in light intensity nor in color. So we cannot create an artificial environment at night with blue light and high intensity, okay? Because it is anti-natural. It's simple. We are not adapted to this. So one of the most important parameters to be taken into account in the drafting of lighted projects or master plans is the spectrum of the light source, okay, the lamps, which can be summarized in its color temperature. To make things simple, although it's not technically correct. So white light should be avoided. Wavelengths below 500 nanometers color blue, which are the ones that are more scattered in the atmosphere to the Rayleigh phenomenon. This is equivalent to LED light source with a color temperature less than or equal 2700. Better 2200 Kelvin and under, obviously, and 3,000 only in exceptional situation. Next slide. Okay, the other parameter, important parameter, sorry, that we have to consider when choosing now pollution light sources is the upward light output radio due to the mere light scattering in the atmosphere. So luminaries with ULOR less than 1% in the installation position, okay, is correct. But it could also be assumed in some cases even 2 and 3% at low height installation in city streets, okay, in order to avoid glare with visual comfort systems. But we must also adjust the power of the lamps to avoid overlighting, and it's especially important to install systems that allow us to regulate the lighting according to demand and reduce the luminous flux at certain moments of the night and even in different steps of the sense. Okay, so obviously, we must also determine those places where the lights can be switched off at night. Obviously, next slide, please. Okay, in the following slides, I will show examples of sustainable installation that we have installed in different locations with, I think, the excellent results in terms of light quality and reduction of light pollution. This installation, for example, was carried out with 2,200 Kelvin degrees LED and very low power, only 15 and 27 watts. And they have a dimming system that reduce the lights to 50% after 4 hours of switch on the light and then go down to 70%. So the photos are taken from a drone. And well, you can see the effect of the light, the height uniformity in the ground, and the lack of intrusive light on the facade and directly in the sky. Next slide, Polonia, please. Okay, this another installation is carried out with the same color temperature, LED with correct optics or photometry of luminaries, and lamp powers are optimized to require illumination level according to the standards, obviously. But here we can see height uniformity, and it's illuminating only the street, okay, without light intrusion into the surrounding areas or provide properties. And here the lighting levels was also adjusted on site once the installation was carried out. This photo is of the initial installation, not adjusted. The next one, please. Okay, and this one is when the luminous flux regulation is working. This installation is provided with intelligent lighting system or smart lighting devices to match illuminance to required values and reduce flux and not add starlight time. Okay, it's very important to count. We must be clear that more security is not more light, but better lighting. Okay, installation with a high quality of illumination without overlighting, without emitting photons outside the surface to be illuminated. So we know that photos always escape, but with the technology we have today, we can make them as few as possible. Next, Polonia, please. Okay, here we can see the results of the sky brightness measurements carried out before and after the outdoor lighting renovation works in the province of Soria, Spain. Is clearly seen how the sky globe is reduced in the horizon of the municipalities. Also at the zenith, it's also reduced, but there is a lot of impact from other big cities, dozens or even hundreds of kilometers away. So light pollution is not a local phenomenon, but a global one. So let's think big to fight light pollution. We have the knowledge, the tools and the technology to make sustainable, efficient, intelligent installation that generates minimum light pollution. Tools are on the table. The problem is how to implement it on the street so that is truly sustainable, intelligent, and not polluting. No? So therefore, we must be careful in the projects, but also in the technical bidding or tender, I know the name exactly specification, and in the work management, of course, so that everything is installed in a proper way. The next slide, the last one. Okay. Well, sustainable and starlight lighting is fun. Okay, it's emotional and allow us to make fantastic dynamic extents of light and color, but in the right way and at the right time. We must not forget the starlight time. This is the only hotel on Ibiza Island that turns off all stereo lights except the security. Is a starlight hotel. Starlight criteria are amazing. So the conclusion is very clear. I think it's possible to make sustainable installations using the current technology available on the market, but we must think about making them truly sustainable. Okay, so fighting light pollution could support destination to achieve sustainability. Okay.
Thank you, thank you, Susanna. And
sorry for my English.
No problem. We understand. I mean, we at least we from outside we understood everything, and it's I wanted to bring back this issue here, even it's more technical than the others, and it requires a great knowledge about how to act. But in fact, it's not. In fact, the tourism and the dark sky, by the growing interest of tourists, are helping us to do something that we thought in the beginning to be easy, because means less expenses, less money used from the municipalities to at least from periods that there's no one in the streets, and they could decrease the intensity, they could switch off some lights from the monuments and so on. But in matter of fact, only few years ago, when the tourism started to grow really quick about and people interested in these issues, it's when we got more attention. But because before it was like going and have all the doors closed, because people didn't understand or were afraid of losing votes by decreasing the intensity of the light. Instead of decreasing, if someone goes to the municipality, ask one more light, they go and give. Yes. That is because it's easy. It's you obtain a vote with something so simple, but it's not simple at all. And the bad and the negative impacts of that action is really awful. But the problem is that in terms of pollution, you talk about the garbage, you talk about water, you talk about the air, but really it's few people talking about light pollution. And I always say this, people laugh about it, but I always say this: if you have the other type of pollutions, you always have someone obtaining benefit from it, like the green economy. Someone is using the debris, using the garbage and so on to recycle, to do things. But there's no one in the sky taking receiving the light pollution, the light that is scarcing for the sky, is going over the sky, and use it for something. So it's really a double waste. So there's no green economy taking advantage of it. Supposedly it's because of it, I suppose to be the best or the most easier pollution to deal with, and in matter of fact it's not. So we always want to bring these issues of lighting pollution and saying that there is new techniques, there is new technology that allow us to have, during the time that people are in the streets, are in the hotels doing the things, and have a more light, more beautiful illuminated things and so on. But then you can, when the tourists that are going out to see the stars, we can decrease the intensity, you can decrease the light, and you can always have the color temperature more adequate for our health. So only to talk about this issue of light pollution is it's a webinar itself. So we only wanted to bring something very small here to give an idea of what is the light pollution battle that we have in our hands. I want to pass now for a part more, how we say, to embrace us in what means to be under a night sky, but also to talk a little bit with Miguel Claro and Ari Neiva about the experience, not only Ari, the experience how to manage and to bring back and work together with Concept Dark Sky and the Natural Regional Park. So to give us an idea how it's been this how we say adventure together with us, and if it's worth it to implement really this type of new added value for Val do Tua regional park.
So you want me to answer?
Yes, yes.
Right now, okay. So I thought maybe Miguel was speaking first, but no problem.
No. It's right for you. Yes.
Okay. So first of all, I would like to thank, in the name of Tua Natural Park, to the organization for having us. It's always a pleasure to be a part of such a quality, a panel with such quality, and I can answer straight to your question by saying that, and I would like to give a special thanks also to some of our partners that I can identify on the, I can see some names here that are our partners on the territory. I can see here accommodations, I can see here tourist technicians, I can see here some associations. So I think that's a fine way to tell you that yes, it's been worth it. This challenge, this adventure, it's giving fruits, and the proof that we are, well, at least that's what we think that we are working well, is that people are coming to our events, are attending, and I would like to thank them also for being here and taking this opportunity also for learning something more. It has been an adventure, as you said. You started in 2007. We started in 2018 or 19. And in the middle, we had a pandemic, which is still amongst us. So it's been a challenge, it's been an adventure, but we are a natural park, and one of our missions is to promote the regional development, always on the perspective, or mostly on the perspective of the tourism, but a sustainable tourism and nature-based tourism, ecological tourism. And when we met Miguel and Apollonia, we only had the first approach was about the tourism and to understand how that could be a potential source of incoming to the region, of people, of money, of course. But we had the great surprise when they told us that there was more besides the tourism, that there was always also a mission, a sustainability mission. And us being a natural park, we said, okay, this is perfect. This is what we are looking for. We have offer for the daytime. We have walking paths. We have bird watching. We have the food. We have the landscape. We have the cultural heritage. And now we need the complement. And that complement is the night part. And what we can get with this is, besides the sustainability issue, is we can guarantee that the people, the persons, stay here for more days and enjoy our territory. So, returning to the beginning, yes, it's of course it's been a good challenge, a good adventure, and we are looking forward to what comes next.
Yes, and we are in the starting point, isn't it? Yeah. We are done. So we have also here Miguel, and Miguel Claro, I will not ask him to talk about, I will ask him to talk about this adventure of taking or recording some way our beautiful night sky, and especially our night sky in the dark sky concept and brand, means Alqueva, Val do Tua, and schist villages. And through his image, we'll be able to tell what means to capture. And I have to tell you other thing. This is not just beautiful pictures. This is pictures that can create an empathy with our destination, could express what are above our heads. I mean, in our territories, what you could see when you look to the sky. Because when I started in 2007 to 2010, 2011, even after the certification, most of people, when I was explaining what we were doing, what was our destination, I saw in their faces, they were looking to me and think, what? A destination to see the stars? What stars? We don't see stars in our sky. So I had really difficult times to express and to show what means a night sky. And Miguel brought that for us and took our task really, really much easier because it was possible with the landscape, especially the landscape photography, to show what were our landscape and the sky above. So Miguel, your photos and you are the best things to speak what you are.
What a responsibility. Okay, so first of all, thank you so much for inviting me for this presentation and to be part of this so interesting group. I will start with Alquiva because I think it's where I have most of my work done. So in some way, I'm trying to show images that can combine a little bit of science, but also art. And in some way, we try to inspire people because of this beauty that is above us, the night sky, and also because of the capacity that the night sky has on bringing people together from different cultural backgrounds, from both politicians, religions, everything. So our main goal is in some ways sharing one people, one sky, because that there's no botherings regarding the sky. So here is the first picture I took in Merlo, which is one of the parts more to the south and near on the way to Algarve, which is the southern part of Portugal. And here we can see the Milky Way. It was done during a work I did for capturing night bird watching. So I was the mission to capture like the environment of these kind of birds, because it's difficult to capture them during the night because they are like difficult to find and they are moving long exposures. So my goal was to actually register it in some way the environment. So and during this night it was amazing because we had like a few thin clouds which gave us a nice feeling, also create a dynamic in the sky. But we have a lot of interesting stuff in the image. The image was published in Astronomy Picture of the Day from NASA, a pod. We can see, for example, a diffuse path, oblong path in the left central part of the picture, which is actually another galaxy, Andromeda galaxy. We have the pink hues regarding the deep sky nebulas we found in the night sky. And then this green hue in the background is actually what we call air glow, related with the atoms that during the night they start to release some light more sensitive to infrared light, which means more sensitive to the kind of cameras we use to capture the night sky. But also Mertla has a wonderful fields, not only this kind of images we have seen before, which is a type of specific landscape, call it steppe or steep in English. And here we can see a wonderful tree. It was in the group of the three most beautiful trees in Europe. It was like a kind of challenge in 2 or 3 years ago, and I had the opportunity to shoot this picture at night, so we can see again Andromeda, the oblong patch, diffuse patch in the center of the image, and on the right side we can see the glow of planet Mars visible behind the tree. As you can see, the tree was illuminated with a friend of mine to give well, nice impression, because during the darkness everything is dark, so even the landscape. and in some way we have these kind of objects and subjects because it helps to give some dimension to the picture, some scale. So people like to see this kind of image because they can review themselves on the field, on this kind of environment. I mean, so here we can see another different picture. In this case, it's more related to the type of accommodation we have in dark sky cave, because we want to, as Apollonia already mentioned, of course, and also Ari, everything it's important. So the experience with our astrotourists in having a nice accommodation and staying in a nice place, have good food, have everything, but simultaneously have access to the wonderful night sky. You just need to go outside and look at the sky, look up at the sky. And so on the left side, we see one of the accommodations we have. It's one hotel. It's an hotel not far away from our observatory, where you can see they have a dome, so people can have their own telescopes. The dome itself, it's empty, but our astrophotographers, astrotourists can bring telescopes and leave them inside the dome and observing during the night. The nighttime. So at the right side, we are looking to a picture taken in Nodar Park, which is in the most western part of the sky, near the border with Spain. It's called Barrancos, very dark place. Probably in the best person to say this is actually is here, and is Susanna, which can say that it's probably one of the best skies we have inside the dark sky reserve. It's very, very dark, and it's like one arm of Portugal, which is entering in the part of Spain. We also have some events like this one. It's nice excuses to have all the people like gathering together and enjoying the night sky. So this is an event we had during Perseids meteor shower. So as you can see, it's a long exposure where we try to combine different images at different taken during like 2-3 hours, where we capture several different meteors. And as you can see, all the meteors seems to apparently appearing from the single point in the sky, close to this pink hues, which is actually the Heart and Soul Nebula. And at the right side, you see a small cluster of stars. There are the double cluster stars in Perseus. So Perseids meteor shower is actually because they are meteors when the radiant, which is this single point of the sky, is located in the Perseus constellation. So the radiant gives the name to the meteor shower. In this case, it's Perseids meteor shower because the radiant is located at the Perseus constellation. So all the people were enjoying a nice night. We had like wine and some food. Some people was relaxing. It was during the first pandemic, so it means that we had all the people like spread. They had their towels in the floor and were just laying down in the floor. And then we will bringing 2 people each time to observe through the telescope. The telescope itself was a Dobsonian telescope, 16 inches. As seen in the left side of the images in the vertical position, was pointing to the zenith by that time. But we also have different activities, and as I mentioned in the beginning, this is one like an image capture because we have like night bird watching, so we can see holes and different type of night birds, and it's a wonderful moment. This one I had lucky to capture these 2 walls during the moonrise, which is seen in the back. So the focus itself was on the foreground on the tree. So this is why it's out of focus the background. So we have an observatory, which is very important. As soon as we get our first opportunity to have our headquarters and to start opening our observatory in 2015, we realized that this is a very important, tool to have, because people know that communicating like a reserve, it's difficult if you don't find like a place, a physical place where to find, where to say, where to speak with people, just to be like how can I say, yeah, a place where people can connect with all the information regarding the reserve itself. So we have this is an old primary school. It was refurbished. It was done it by the municipality in 2015. So we then expand the observatory. So we started with the observatory, which is the dome visible at the right side, your right side when looking to the screen. And then at left, we have our visual observatory. So at the right side, it's an observatory not open to people, but only to using telescopes for astrophotography, as they are very sensitive equipments. We don't want to have people inside because it's very dangerous. They can just mess with the telescopes and everything. It's very precisely aligned. So, and also because we are working most of the nights, at least as soon as we have new moon or just a few presence of the moon, which is not interfering with our observations, we started doing this collecting data for our images. At the left side, you see that our client inside with one of our astronomers. So this is a visual observatory. We normally can have inside up to 20 people, but in average, we try to have the maximum of 15 people because we want to give a good experience and all the attention, so our professional astronomer, have time enough to explain concepts and to take to accept questions and answers and so on. So it's a nice thing that we will try to keep as much as possible. Even during the pandemic was not easy, but even before the pandemic, we already were doing this kind of work, like receiving the booking previously, so we cannot just appearing and go to the session. Normally we are you need to book previously because we try to coordinate these kind of groups. For example, we try to avoid mixing Portuguese people with other languages because this can interfere with the dynamic of the session, and we try to have the best experience when we try to give like the entire line of the experience as we know. Which started inside the room showing the permanent exhibition of astrophotography. Then we go outside, we have a guided visit to the naked eye with just a laser point and explaining the constellations. And then the last part is more immersive part where we will be inside the observatory itself and looking through the telescopes. So this is a little bit one of our visual telescopes, and then this is what we can see with our telephoto lenses when we are keeping and capturing the deep sky objects. Like, for example, we are seeing now the Orion Nebula and also the Horsehead Nebula. Here's another example. This one is more visible to during the summer because it's Rho of Uichi. It's a complex nebulosity, some reflection nebula with a bit of emission nebula, very colorful region which is surrounding the supergiant star Antares, which is the orange hues. You also have like the dark river, which is this dark opaque dust, which is blocking the light that is coming behind. So it's probably one of the most colorful regions in the night sky. But we are expanding now that I'll probably already told. We are also in the center of Portugal, in the north of Portugal, and in the north we were working with Ari and all the team there. And so this borns Dark Sky Val2. So this is one of our last partnership to create a Dark Sky Portugal as one piece. So in Dark Sky Val2 has a wonderful different subjects to show. For example, they are very rich in terms of prehistoric caves. So this is one of the examples. It's very nice to see that on the left part you can see the red some draws made, and we believe that this is some connection with the passage of a comet thousands of years ago, and our ancestors already had attention in paying attention to the sky, so they tried to left some mark to us to know that that something special was happening in the sky. And this is another example. This is in the castle. So this is a more kind of art that where we were not only showing the sky in this case as a path lights in colorful hues, because each star has a relation with a different color temperature of the stars. So during a star trail, we can see different hues. For example, the blue ones means that are more hot stars than comparing to the orange ones. In this case, this is the entrance of the castle of the Anciens Castle in Val do Tua. This is one of the landscapes also with important historical monuments. And we can see now the winter sky. So this is not so prominent as the core of the Milky Way, but it's a very interesting part, and actually very interesting to show, because people sometimes say that we can only see the Milky Way during the summer, and this is not true, okay? We can see the Milky Way the entire year. The only part that we can see during the winter, it means that is the less prominent part, which is the arms, like the most extended arms of our galaxy, which are not so bright because are far away from the core, from the center of the heart of the galaxy. So we are now seeing, for example, from a region where we have the Auriga constellation, where we have the Perseus, where we have the California Nebula, where we have Orion, Rosette Nebula, and immediately above the horizon, between the two pillars, we can see the Sirius star, which is the brightest star in the entire celestial sphere. Now it's a close-up of the place itself. It's my shadow there, and I'm just looking to Andromeda Galaxy. And so this is another important subject, because we are trying always to keep both together, like the landscape, the cultural part of the landscape, I mean, and also the night sky. So to finish almost this part, we are now looking to a viewpoint. It's a very interesting viewpoint, because Val do Tua, it's full of nice, interesting viewpoints. This is Olhos do Tua, I think so. Ari, can you help me?
Ujo viewpoint, Ujo.
Ujo, Mirador do Ujo.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And that's my desktop.
Not recovered it yet. Okay,
that's
so
also my desktop image.
Okay, so this is one of the images taken during the night. You can see that the glow of the moon was visible. So it's nice, because it seems that it's almost daylight, but it's not. It's nighttime. You can see the stars, but the blue color from the light of the moon. And actually, it's a very interesting phenomenon happening, which is a glory of the moon. You can see like a small rainbow on the left side of the image. So to finish, this is another viewpoint, very interesting. And now, yes, it's Olhos do Tua, the name, correct name. So this is another interesting point you can visit. You can observe from there. It's very, very quiet place, and it's amazing because you have the Tua River and the view. It's simply amazing. On this picture, we can see another strange Voyager, which is actually a comet. Neowise was visiting us 2 or 3 years ago, and I had the opportunity to shoot there. So it was a very magical moment. So to finish, I'm just like to show you how Blondie is pressing me all the time. Like, okay, so I try to be as fast as possible. Aleixo Xisto, it's another part in the central region of Portugal. We can see the Milky Way visible too. Wonderful landscapes, and it's full of mountains, so it's also different from Alqueva, which is a very flat region. And we have nice rocky formations, which can give, for example, for photographers, nice compositions like this one, where we can see the Ursa Major and also the Little Dipper, Big Dipper together in the same picture. We also can, sorry, it's frozen, I think so. Okay, it's working. We also have, this is made by, in man, yeah. It's in craft, I think it's the correct way. It's a goat, and it is just an example where we can see in the field during the night, and in the background we can see the summer triangle, which is formed by 3 different stars of different constellations. Vega star in the beginning. On the left side we can see Deneb, and close to the GOAT, it's visible Altair star, and this is forming a very well known asterism that we can see during the night. So this is another views from the mountains, the mountain range. On the right side, we can see a very interesting phenomenon called the zodiacal light. It was captured during after the twilight. And it was incredible, probably one of the most spectacular views of the zodiacal light that I had opportunity to capture. And last year, this picture is inedit. I mean, I'm just showing for the first time. No one had ever seen yet because I didn't publish it. It was processed from a while because it was from the last event of Perseids meteor shower, and it was taken also in the field in Pampilhosa da Serra, near the lake. So you can see also the meteor shower happening and the Milky Way there, and views were impressive. So thank you so much for this opportunity to show you the Dark Sky Portugal.
Kazem, now I will ask you to put a break, so making a small break with our videos. People have time to have a small break and take a coffee or or a water, and then we will be back to have our discussion with our audience and our speakers. Could be, Kazem?
Sure.
Okay.
Let me.
So see you in 2 minutes.
Sure. Just a moment. Thank you very much, Apollonia, and the great speakers. You did a very, very good job so far. So as we want to hear from our participant and to include their voice, I want to have a very short practice for them. I would like to ask all participants to go to this website. Here it's the address menti.com, and use the code that is written there, and share some keywords that they got so far from the webinar. There should be some words in their mind and they want to share with. We do not have time to listen to all voices, but here we can see what they think. So our participant, please go to menti.com and use the code on the top of the page. It will be in the chat also, the code. And please share with us the keywords that comes to your mind so far by listening to this great presentations. Also, if you look at the chat, we have another link that has been sent to you. It is a Google form and asking questions from your background information and the information from the webinar. So once the keywords are coming, I will share this screen again and we can see what picture will be drawn here from your mind. I pass it on again to Apollonia, maybe for a panel discussion now that we can discuss. We also have our Professor Cooper here. He might want to add something in the panel discussion too. Apollonia, floor is yours.
Yes, I think now we could go see if Mr. Cooper or Professor Jafari are wanted to say something, add to something. Otherwise, we can go further and have some words that can add things, because these presentations, even if it's 2 hours, there are always things that skip our mind when we are talking about the issue, stories that we couldn't include. And now is the time that we can have time to do that. So
if I may, Apollonia, I have a question in my mind. I wanted to ask you a while ago too. In some shared base resources in the world, like SCoT, we have international treaties or international agreements on conservation of such a resource that is shared. How about dark skies? Do we have an international treaty or agreement on conservation of dark skies?
By what I know as a very strong agreement that is shared by everyone, I don't think so, because the energy is still, how we say, a problematic issue even at the European Union. I already had meetings with the commissioners in European Commission, because I don't understand how they are giving already funds when the rules and the laws that are used for us, not only for Portugal, for other countries. So the rules are not saving energy. I mean, they are saving energy, but they are not fighting light pollution, because what we have now is energy efficiency, but energy efficiency doesn't mean light pollution fight. I mean, doesn't mean that you are decreasing light pollution. You can have policies of energy efficiency, but not policies that are really decreasing the light pollution. So I had many meetings, but I see that this is an issue that has a huge lobby, and it's difficult to find a good agreement that go to the point of the issue, because you have a huge lobby behind you. So what we have are agreements like Starlight Declaration that was did in 2007. Then we have the foundation that was created in the sequence of this, and we are certifying. But the certification is not an obligation. I mean, doesn't mean that you are changing the rules that you have in our territories. You have to go and sensibilize and help the country to change the rules. So means that there's no agreements that help you to fulfill your work in an easy way. There are some initiatives, some declarations, but not that type of agreements that are going that take the environmental, social, and economic impacts that the light pollution that is the main problem in the dark sky that affects you. So no, I think there's by now, and of course it's something that we could do and we are always thinking on doing, but it's really yes, it's something that we should all us together join and do and fight for that.
Thank you very much. As the issue of light pollution has been raised a lot during the presentations, and if I recall, the industrialized societies might have more light pollution issues than developing countries, and the rural or the more rural we have, the less light pollution. So can we conclude that in countries with no or less development and less, let's say, industrialization, we have more chances for dark sky tourism development, and it can be a great contributor for local and for community development in such destinations.
Yes, indeed. In dark sky Alqueva, one of the negative things that it's in our region is the less populated, I mean, the loss of population. And because of it, people were saying that, were understanding that this region was a rural region, not so well developed, because we were losing population, but not only because of that, because we have a type of planning that is based in small villages. And between these small villages, there's nothing. So there's no light. Like in the coast part, we have a line planning. So means that the villages were growing in the main accessible roads. So means that they were growing, and means that you have light pollution. So one part that is considered negative in dark sky Alqueva is the part that gave us the possibility to start this project by having a great quality of the sky because of it. So yes, in some way I can say yes, but then you have the other part. We had the process of depopulation, but we had the process of creating great and local businesses for tourism. Means that we have the great quality of sky to starting. We had the accessibility. We had a community already developed, and we had tourism facilities with great quality, because our law is very is really good for rural tourism. So yes, we had all these all together. I visited many countries with less development in rural areas, and yes, they have the sky, but now what we need is to give attention to the regional authorities or national authorities, that they can create this type of, they can use this type of initiatives to give more economic, to bring economy, better development, but there are always the problem of light pollution, because they will feel that if they have more development, they can have more light. So when you implement these processes in less development countries, you have to develop the quality of the services. You have to develop also the mind of people. We have to sensibilize the mind of people to bring the development, but to avoid the process of light pollution. I will tell you quickly a story. I was in the north of Portugal, and someone asked us why we should have these policies, or why we working with these policies to protect the night sky, while the coastline can have all the light. You see how this works? So even in the countries that you think this issue is not, or it's already solved, you see people thinking why the other territories can have the light they want, and we have to be under the dark sky concept. We need to take care of our excess of light, you know. So this is not easy, and I saw in developing countries the objective of having a new type of tourism is not only use what else was negative and in a positive thing, is they are always thinking, if we have money, we can put more light. So this is tricky. Tricky has to be before they have to have a really good and current strategy coming from outside to show them the best way and the way they can develop and use this tool in the right way.
Thank you very much, Apollonia. Let me ask or repeat one of the questions in the chat. Is from Dori. She's asking about air travel and the role of air travel in polluting sky and dark skies. So, what is your general statement about air travel toward the environmental sustainability?
Yes, the air travel it's a problem for any type of sustainability. Yes, it's and fortunately for our territories, it's even the one of the main entrance from the people coming from the other continents. It's the best way of entrance. But in the other day, I was in a seminar about the air pollution, and indeed. Air pollution is also a huge problem for our territories, because the criteria, we had no time to talk about the technical criteria, but one of the criteria is the SING, is the SING, Miguel, the correct one is the SING, so the transparency. So all this, not only light pollution, but also everything that produces or decreases the quality of the air, also it creates barriers to not only to our certification, but also barriers to see the night sky. And indeed, the air travel it's a huge problem that we don't know. As a personal point of view, I see difficult to deal, but we have to deal and to promote more other types of we are in the end of Europe, or in the beginning of Europe, as people can see, but we have other sources like train and other sources of transport that can decrease the pollution they bring to the night sky or to the sky.
Thank you, Apollonia. There are other chat questions are coming. People I don't know, they must not be from Japan, because here is almost 1 a.m. But
sorry for you.
No. Let me ask Professor Cooper. I know, Malcolm, you have one point and one question, which is maybe from New Zealand. Malcolm, can you hear me?
Okay, can you allow me to put this picture?
Yes, you're allowed.
How do I do that? Share it?
Just share your screen.
Back.
That's okay?
Yes.
All right. Actually, my question mark is on the negative side of this a little bit. Let me tell you why. In the early 1980s, for about 10 years, I was the Environmental Services Director and City Planner for the Adelaide Hills area of South Australia. During that period, a new mayor got elected, and his first instruction to me, as the head of environment, was to turn off the lights. This is a rural fringe area of the city of Adelaide, a city of 2 million people. And he said, okay, we're forested, we've got houses in our forest, and we do not need streetlights. On the other side of the coin, my other title was Environmental Services Director, and I was responsible for safety in that semi-urban area. And the state government was saying to me, you can't do this. You can't turn off the lights to see the night sky. So my question really was about the safety question. What do you think about that? On the other hand, if you look at the picture I've got, this is an area that I'm very familiar with in my home country of New Zealand. And the night sky is the primary tourist attraction, other than the tallest mountain in New Zealand, which is Aoraki, Mount Cook. So I wonder if you could comment on having it both ways, being able to see the night sky, but also being able to help people be safe when they're walking on the streets.
Yes, thank you for this question. But here, when I started in the beginning and said that we are an astrotourism destination and not a place like you find in La Palma or in in Atacama, Chile desert, because we have to combine the life of people in our region, the security of people and resources, and also to have the best night sky. What we are developing, and Susanna maybe can tell something, can add something, is that we can have a better lighting projects where you can have the necessary light that can help you to move, to see the places, to see the floor, to walk, and also capable to have the night sky. I will tell you the best example you have. Miguel, show you in the cultural break, in these images, our observatory. You didn't notice because it was a picture of the observatory, but the observatory is in one village. It's not in the middle of nowhere. It's one village by one purpose. It's the way we can share that we have in SKM measures 21.50. We can have in a night without moon, with a new moon, we can have 21.50% of quality of night sky. This is fantastic. And you are in a village. Why? Because we change all the lights for 220 as 200 and 200 as Susanna show as the better, because we couldn't. It is difficult to deal with this, but we are using 270,000 Kelvin, and we have the managers. Each light is manageable, so you can decrease the flux of each light. First, we have only 40%, and when we are doing our activities and we are shooting at night, we have only 10% of the total of the light, and we can have this quality of the night sky, and people continue to have the quality to walk in the street, to see their things, and to have their normal life. Of course, they are not waked, but we can make, you can keep the quality of the vision, the quality of the light for security people, to secure people and their resources, but also at the same time to have the night sky. And our observatory, an example, and we exceeded to put our observatory there because it's the perfect example that we can have development, we can have a small village, and we can have a dark sky infrastructure that can show you the Milky Way. You can see the Milky Way above you at naked eye, even in that small village. Why? Because we control the light.
I think that was the answer I was looking for.
Yeah.
If you can develop policies that work, and you invite Susanna and her compatriots to like them, we've got a win-win situation.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
If you let me say something also, I would like to add that in our case, we had some how do you call it? We had a series of webinars of a formation plan.
Training.
Oh, this a training exactly to some parts of our society, to entrepreneurs, to the tourism technicians, to the officers from the mayor's office. And one of the conclusions that we arrived, us and the participants, was that they were receiving, they never heard before, concerning mostly to light pollution, and that training should be also addressed to the engineers on the part of the city that should also learn from the benefits and from the consequences of bad lighting. And with that, we gained a lot of friends, as I like to say, to our cause. And I have also a personal example of a group of friends. I was with a group of friends having dinner in a big city here in Portugal. We started talking about our works, what we do, and whatever. And I said we were in the natural park. We were investing in astrotourism and in treating the light pollution. And they all said, "Oh, light pollution! No, you're kidding! Oh, do you want us to put the lights down?" And I said, "No, it's the middle term. It's something in the middle, not put everything dark, but it's not having too much light because it's unnecessary." And the truth is, at that time, everybody was a little bit skeptical. But with the passing of the time, I have received from some of those friends some messages, some YouTube videos saying, "Oh, so this is what you were talking about. Yes, that's it." And they started saying that it makes sense. And I guess they get a little more conscious of what we are saying when we started talking about Starlink, about Tesla's Starlink, and this is an issue that it can also help to gain some more conscience and to really enforce the issue of light pollution.
Thank you.
I have to ask you, Mr. Cooper, I saw in the chat there is some question connected with this. Nate asked if we needed to change all light posts for those kind of light. In our case, I will tell what we did in Cumiada village, what the CIMAC did in Cumiada village. They kept, it's not perfect, but we are going measure by measure. So it's a cycle. The first thing they did is to change not the posts because they are too high. We wanted more close to the ground, but by now it's what we have. They are a little bit high, but they changed the LED by the one with the white spectrum, the blue spectrum, the 4,500 Kelvin to 217,000 Kelvin. And then the next measure is to put field, make it shielded, fully shielded, until we have a fan that can decrease the height of each thing. So what I wanted to say to Nate is that with the lights or the posts they have, the luminaire they have, they can change first the light for a better one. And in the future, when they will have a possibility of investment, they could decrease the height of each and to be closer to the ground. But it's what we did, and it is possible. So you can start, because the first step is decrease the light pollution, show that with less intensity and the right temperature color, it is best for the economy of the village, the municipality. It is the best for human health and also for the ecosystem. And then when you conclude that step with success, and the tourists are coming, and you see people with more resources coming to your region because they value this type of activities. And then you can ask, the second step is that to create light that can be even more better for people, for the intensity, but also for the night sky. So I think you cannot go from one side to the other. It will be like that man, he said, I wanted to switch off all lights. That is not in our territory, that is rural areas. We cannot go from light to no light. That is the huge mistake you do in this type of regions. You have to go cycle by cycle, path by path, convincing people that what you are doing are better for the regions and are not taking out the light, are just adapting the light they need. And you can do it, and you can help people understand. And this is our mission, not to put people on the dark, but show how they can take advantage from this type of tourism, and at the same time create better sustainable strategies for their territory.
That's what we did, and it was a difficult job.
Yes,
I've got the grey hairs to prove it, but it can be done.
Yes.
You've got to attend to the policies that are made and the environments that you're dealing with, and then add on the top the benefits of the night sky in this case. It can be done. All of us together.
Yes.
Thank you very much for this webinar. It's been very interesting. Brought back a few memories.
Thank you so much. I think this discussion is endless, and the need, and the interest is also. We had Apollonia's webinar, and the speakers, some of them here already presented, and we are still willing to hear from you and see what are the progress and step forward in this topic. So on behalf of SCoT team, I would like to thank all of you for this wonderful event. And we all look forward.
Azim, may I also add something before you conclude?
Yes, Jafar, sorry.
Mr. Jafar.
That's all right. I have been with you, but not my picture. Thank you very much for this conversation. The last piece of conversation brings something to my mind. To paraphrase Shakespeare, to light or not to light? That's the question. And I think that was right now your question, to light or not to light. I can also give one example that people decide to light, and that is the big cities in the absence of security in dark streets, or even university campuses in the United States, which are pretty large and some areas are dark. So to increase security, there are two options: to have police or to add light bulbs. So I think most of them use the light, and that would defeat the purpose of what we're talking about. I want to thank you for shedding light on the subject. Note that I said, I didn't say shedding light on dark skies, because if I say that, then your skies are not dark anymore. So shedding light on the subject. Thank you very much. I was doing a sort of inventory of my own about the subject, and I quickly checked on the Encyclopedia of Tourism, which is coming out at the end of this year, to see what entries we have that relates to your subject. We have just a second. We have a night tourism, we have astrotourism, we have desert tourism, and we have, yeah, these are the ones we have. I was wondering how different these are from each other. Let me tell you about the night tourism. Night tourism is something that people who are doing day tourism to think about. That we have all these tourists coming here. For the day, they have lots of things to do. And for the night, they have very little to do. In your case, you bring people for the night. And then you ask yourself, what are we going to do for them for the day? So am I phrasing it right? Is your task similar to them, different from them? If you just shed light on that subject for me.
Well, I think it's a little bit different. Not in a general concept, but night tourism you can have always, because there is night, and you can have in all places, depending what type of activities you are doing. The case of astrotourism is that you need the night sky. I mean, you need to have availability of the resource that is not just the night, it just is what it is above you. So you have to see it. You have to observe the planets, the stars, the constellations. So we need to see what is above. So means if there are cloudy areas, if there are foggy areas, you can still do night activities, but you can do astrotourism. So I think astrotourism can be included in night tourism, but like a small part of the night tourism you can do in some places. I think it's what we can think, because night tourism can be much more wider than just the astrotourism that need a sort of conditions, technical criteria, plus the availability of the resource that is less available than just the night, and then the right conditions in terms of infrastructure resource. I think I don't know if I was clear, if it was maybe Aurea wanted to add something. She's more from the research side.
It's true, it's that, because night tourism is wider. It could be done in any destination, but astrotourism is inside of this broader concept, is a specific one that needs those specific conditions. So it's like that.
Do you agree, Jafar?
Well, I think night tourism is all about lights. For example, Las Vegas is in night tourism, and Las Vegas is all lights. And then in many destinations, when they have night tourism, it's urban settings, etc. So it's not in your sense of night tourism. Your sense is very different. But I thought, I need to make this point, because we researchers try to come up with the boundaries of the subject. So, for example, for me, it's interesting to know where does dark sky end and astrotourism begins, or vice versa. Where does the dark night?
Yes, Professor Jafari, there's an error in the concepts, because, for instance, we do not say we go to hotel, we go to Ritz. That was the first one that, that verb hovering for, it is a brand. So to say dark sky tourism is to use a brand about something, because there are certifications called like that, and there are brands and that sort of things. So there's astrotourism, and then inside astrotourism, there's certain activities related to that. So how can I say, to define this type of tourism, the most correct definition is to use this one, because astrotourism can be done in any place that has conditions. It could be certified. It could be certified by different types of certifications, at least I know 2 ones, or cannot be certified. There are places well known that are developing, or at least till a few years ago, that were developing this kind of tourism and they were not certified, and they had all the characteristics to develop tourism. So the most correct term to use to define this type of tourism is astrotourism.
Very good. And it reminds me, Apollonia, many years ago, maybe about 20 years ago, we started a project in Spain called Starlight.
Yeah.
And there were a couple of conferences on the Starlight, and then came Dark Sky. What is the bridge between these two? What's the connection between these two, or are they disconnected?
No, I think that they are connect, and they are in basis they are going in the same way. The difference is that Starlight in the beginning the Starlight went more. It's why we have certified. We are also certified by Starlight destination, because Starlight went more for the tourism side, the experience, and what a tourism destination needs to be a really astrotourism destination, while the first from the IDA in the beginning were only concerned about light pollution. And most of the destinations that you were having certified by IDA in the beginning were just in the middle of nowhere, and most of them, and some of them even you couldn't go at night because they were parks that closed. That are closed at night, but they were these measurements or these measures more for the ecosystem than to be used as a product, a tourism product. Starlight went more for the touristic side, and while combining, it was more for the sustainability side in tourism. So combining the protection of the night sky, but be used as a tourism resource. So using the night sky as a tourism resource.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. So Kazem, Professor
Thank
Kazem.
Thank you
very much.
Apollonia, thank you very much for your efforts. This is your second webinar with us. I hope there would be a third one. It's a subject which is expanding.
Thank you.
And I like to also thank members of your team. Together, you not only defined the subject, you populated the subject, and you even your thinking and your action is leading to more questions, which is the way the science goes or research goes. You know, a good webinar in my mind is one that sheds light on the subject, but at the same time raises new questions that we haven't thought about. And therefore, your webinar did both of those. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much
Thank you.
To give us that honor to be here moderating and hosting a webinar. It was because you, Kazem, and all the team invited us, and we are very thankful for this time and for this opportunity. And you know, Jafar, we follow you since students. We read your books, your Mr. Cooper. So we had this research and these all the things that you are doing, and it is a huge pleasure to hear your words, and we greatly thank you, to Kazem, to Mr. Cooper, for Professor Cooper, to be with us and help and share these moments with us and give us the opportunity to have this webinar. Thank you so much from the heart.
Thank you, Apollonia, and we are looking forward to hear more from this subject and from your team. There are questions in the chat that we are going to direct it to Apollonia later, and we are much beyond the time right now. The only announcement I want to make now is that in 2 days' time, we have another webinar, which is very unique in its nature, and it's going to discuss about the UNWTO.TED call certification and how this support communities through the training and link between the academia and community and industry, or the theory and practice in tourism higher education. We invite all of you to participate in that webinar as well. And thank you very much, and have a good morning and good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. See you.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
Susanna.
Bye-bye.
Alvin,
Thank you. Thank you.
Ari,
Bye-bye.
Miguel,
See you.
for being with us. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Polonia. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.